She's back on YouTube. So we are getting real here, and I'm gonna be doing something a little bit differently now. Come and watch me scale my business and launch an app startup at the same time in real time. I have not seen any other coach, any other service provider be this behind the scenes, just open with you and just share the journey as it's actually happening. So come along for the behind the scenes. I'm gonna be sharing with you exactly what I'm doing in my business, exactly how I'm growing, the lessons, the successes, and the failures as well. Full behind the scenes, full openness, full disclosure for the next few months as I'm growing my business and also launching my app startup Spotlight at the same time as well. So am I crazy? We'll find out, but come along and let's see what happens with this. So how this is going to work. This is going to be almost a video diary style thing, unedited, and I'm just going to be sharing with you what I have done and what I've been working on, the things I've been doing to grow, what has worked, what hasn't worked as well. So I'm fully sharing all of my failures with you on the internet, which is super fun, and just sharing with you the strategies that I'm using, what you can take from this for your own business as well, what is working, and yeah, how I'm balancing all of this and running two businesses at the same time. So in this video, we're back to the normal intro now. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things which have been the big focus for me over the last week. And that is firstly, reviewing my messaging and really making a messaging shift in my business, in my coaching business. Secondly, my 4Body sales program, the live round. I did the first one ever, the actual launch of that, how that worked, what I did behind the scenes, and what the successes, what the failures were for that. And then thirdly, a little update on my app business, Spotlight as well, and what we're working on there at the moment. So yeah, come along and see what's happening in my business, and we'll dive into this with the messaging review. So the first thing which I did in my business over the last week, which I knew I needed to make a big shift in, and honestly I've known I've needed to make a big shift in this for a very long time, and honestly been procrastinating a little bit because I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do this, but I've known for a while I needed to shift my messaging. It just wasn't clicking properly. I knew that something needed to change there, and I knew that I wasn't really being clear with the transformation of what I was actually helping people with. So I was really struggling to figure out how to word this, what this actually was. So I feel like I got really clear on it. So I spent a whole day, literally I spent all of Wednesday going through this and just sitting there trying to play with words, looking over exactly how my clients had worded things for me as well. So I literally scrolled through all of the forms of my onboarding for clients, my offboarding, their testimonials, just to see, okay, what was the wording which people are using? Because like you're probably in that situation sometimes, you can probably relate of, I have it in my head, but it's kind of getting the wording out that I was struggling with for messaging. And I've always sucked at niching down, but we're finally doing it now. So very proud of myself there. But I had really been trying out the idea of my messaging being cut 8 hours from your work week, which is kind of true for what I do, but also doesn't really cover the whole picture. So I knew that that wasn't really it and needed to be reworked still. So when I was actually looking at my client numbers, I really figured out that actually the commonality between all my clients was the income going up and the time they were spending working in their business going down at the same time. So this was it with the messaging, I feel like, and I'm really, really happy and really confident with the new messaging. I will put a picture of it on the screen here for what it looks like on my Instagram now, but I'm really happy with how that's turned out in terms of I feel really clear now on what the transformation is. I know how to word it, and yeah, I feel clearer than I ever have on that. So very excited about that, because honestly, the biggest difference between lower income months and higher income months really happening naturally has been messaging for me, when I've been really clear on my messaging, and I feel like I just haven't been super clear the last few months. So yeah, we're getting clear on that. We're making those big shifts that we need to set the foundations for all this growth which is about to happen. Now, the second part I wanted to talk about for my coaching business is the 4Body sales program. I did the first live round ever, so officially opened that. Actually haven't opened it yet, but I will be opening by the time you've seen this video. but I was selling that throughout May, and May actually ended up being a really great month for my business. My highest revenue month in like 6 months. So I'm actually as well throughout this series, I'm gonna fully share this with you. So I'm gonna insert my revenue graph here so you can see when I'm saying grow my business, what it actually looks like each month. So this is what it looks like up until the end of May. But I essentially had a full body sales. I've always had this program out, but I wanted to do a live round of it. So I was really wanting to go through all of these strategies with people, give them some live support for 30 days and just give them a space to really grow with sales in their business and just really support them in sales. So I'm going to walk you through the exact strategies I used to actually sell that program, what worked and where the clients actually came from, and what didn't work as well, so what didn't actually get me results. So I signed up 6 women to this program for this live round. The first thing that I did was selling this on stories, and this is where a couple of those people came from just seeing me talk about it on stories on my Instagram, and reaching out directly from there. The majority of people, interestingly enough though, came from me reaching out to previous clients who had had access to the original FBYS program and saying, you know, do you want to join for the live round and sign up for that? So actually that's where most of the people came from in the end, which I think is really interesting and obviously says a lot about the program, which is really great for me, but is really great to think about because that was an idea I had very last minute of, hey, why don't I just reach out to, you know, the people who have been previous clients who have gone through this program before and ask them if they want to join for the live round as well. So I think that's really great information to have there. And again, a great thing for you to think about in terms of your business of whether you can actually reach out to previous clients and where those potentials for sales are that you're not even really considering, because a big number of sales came from there. And then the final thing I did as well was the email sequence. I had an email sequence from a freebie related to sales, and I got 1 sign up from here, but I feel like, again, I want to add a little asterisk after that because it doesn't really give the full picture. I was really creating this email sequence for the longevity of having a sequence which can actually get sales from it, and obviously it did get a sale from it, so that's amazing. But really having this sequence in place so I can have more of an evergreen funnel for this was more of the intention. So what I can see from this, just a really interesting pattern, is just the importance of actually continuing to build relationships with previous clients and keeping track of where they're really at the moment, what they're doing, you know, what else I could potentially support them with and what else they might find value in, because literally most of those clients came from reaching out to those people directly and saying, hey, I think this could be really helpful for you. Would you be interested in joining us for this live round? So I think it's really important to notice that and see the value in that versus, you know, needing to even make new sales. I would have already had, I think, 4 signups for that program just by doing that back end strategy and without even talking about it on social media. So that's really great to see that as well from that side. Okay, so that's a little wrap on my coaching business, everything that's been happening there. I am so excited with these messaging shifts, and what I'm really focusing on over the next week is re-recording some of the modules for FBYS. So this program is just the best thing it can possibly be. And again, just making more of an evergreen system for getting people into here, because I know for my one-to-one coaching, which is my main high ticket offer, that it works really, really well for me when people are coming from either a workshop, which I'm going to be doing a workshop definitely in the next couple months, so you can hold me accountable to that. And secondly, when people come in from my lower end offers and can kind of get a taste for working with me, those people end up signing up. So actually from my last FBYS sale, which I had, I think it was 30% of people ended up signing up for my high ticket one-to-one program. So that's really great information to know that people tend to have a really great experience on there and tend to then sign up for my high ticket program. So it is actually really worth my time getting people in versus necessarily worrying about the, you know, maximizing the income from this particular program. I'm really focused on getting people into the program so they can get that taster of working with me and then upgrade to actually the higher ticket programs. So I'm really going to be focusing on, and you'll see this in the next video with kind of my reflections and what I've kind of got from there. I'm really going to be focused on obviously serving people inside this program and opening that up. I'm going to have a few little options for kind of upsells and things throughout that as well, which I'm still playing with. So you'll see how that pans out. And I'm going to be re-recording the modules for that and still promoting that on my stories as well. So we shall see what happens with that. And then for the final section of this update here. So the final area I'm talking about is Spotlight. So if you don't know, I have a second app business, which I'm working on with my business partner. It is a software startup, an app called Spotlight. It was designed for coaches and service providers to really help you give the best possible client experience and automate and just really upgrade and improve your client experience at the same time. So with that in mind, we have really been focused in the last week on the messaging side as well for here, because we really realized that we had originally gone with this idea of the all-in-one being the focus if we did everything essentially, but actually we realized it was just confusing people more than anything of what we actually did. Like, what was our thing? We didn't have a thing. The same way that you go to restaurants and you go for a certain type of food, we didn't have a thing. We had no thing. So we really decided, okay, we need to focus in on something. What is the area to focus in on? And we really used the data from our early users of, what they were most interested in, what was the area which really attracted them to this app. And we found that was the automations side. So we are doubling down on these automations. Let me tell you, they're going to be the best thing ever. I'm so excited about this. So we've completely restructured the automations over the last week. We spent, I think, the whole of Sunday just going over the automations. It was madness, but it was amazing. So we've got the automations now to a point where we're going to have message automations, we're going to have email automations, and automations for notifications as well. So really, it's going to be the first app which actually integrates all of your automations. It's not just email automations in one place and then message automations, which I don't think you actually really can do anywhere, in another place, the notifications in another place. It's integrating everything together, which I think creates such a flawless client experience, and I'm so excited for that to come to life. So we were really restructuring that and figuring out the best way to do that on the back end, but then also looking at the front end, how we're communicating about the app and kind of the messaging we're using there, switching away from being this all-in-one tool to being the go-to place for optimizing your client experience, making it amazing, and also saving you a heck ton of time by actually automating things and actually automating those small things, which just takes so long in your business, and creating a really seamless process around that as well. So that has been the big focus for Spotlight over the last week. We also have been testing the app. So we've been testing on Android and iPhone, which we had to purchase an Android for, which was a fun shopping experience. So yeah, we've been just testing away and creating the App Store pages. So that is going to be coming out very soon. So very excited about that. It's a lot of weekend and evening work for that, while my coaching business has been more during the day at the moment. But yeah, it's an interesting time definitely for both businesses in terms of the messaging at the moment. So definitely stay tuned to see what happens as those pan out. Now, in terms of what you can expect from this series, so I'm going to be aiming for weekly videos, if not bi-weekly, but essentially I'm literally just going to be giving you the full, unfiltered, authentic behind the scenes of my businesses and what I'm doing, what is working for us, so you can literally see as my business grows. You can see as we're launching Spotlight, the full behind the scenes in real time. You're not seeing it at the end after, once we've got the shiny results, you're seeing the messy middle as well, which I'm very excited for. It's very vulnerable, it's very new. So definitely let me know in the comments what you would love to see more of through this series. But I'm so excited. I feel like there's nothing like this online, and the coaching industry needs something like this. So I'm happy to provide it, and I will see you in the next week's one with more updates on all of those different projects.